So is the broadcast having any effect?
To join forces.
Are you ready for this fight? You ever see yourself doing this? Ready for this fight?
My God, come on! Oh.
No, I'm not doing anything wrong.
Oh.
might let me know how that's going? I'm just standing around here, you know?
Chill out, we're fine. No one's gonna bother us with all the protests going on.
Nothing to report. Copy, no activity by you. Same here. Nothing here. Should investigate.
All quiet here too. Roger. My sector's clear too. No, nothing in my sector.
Same here. report. Roger. Nothing either. Halt there! Moving now!
They haven't named a mandatory. So if they were supposed to do Andy Ruiz and Wilder and a WBC eliminator, that fell apart. Okay, so you have a situation where okay, that fell apart. Then name another one. Well, that it's just sitting there. So Tyson Fury's not doing anything wrong. He's just exercising his legalities by doing what he wants to do. So that's what's really happening here. I don't have that much of a problem with that. I do have a problem with the middleweight situation. That's a real problem for me mentally.
Does Mauricio really have any power, or is he just a figurehead?
No, he's the power. He is the power.
And he doesn't seem to throw his weight around if he has any.
He does occasionally, but he's not really that. He's not a heavy-handed guy. He's really not. He's the kind of guy. Put it this way, too. He's the kind of guy you'd rather take to dinner with than fight a war with.
And the boxing scholars mentions that Tyson Fury has no intention on unifying. So why shouldn't he be stripped?
That's his opinion. That's his opinion. So we'll see. That he may be right, but that's just his opinion. We'll see.
And the demand for mandatories, the fighters it doesn't seem to wield any power. If you told Tyson Fury and Andy Ruiz, if you told Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz it's mandatory that they fight each other, back in the day.
No. It's not mandatory they fight each other. No. They create an eliminator. Now, if they would have fought, okay, and the winner is the mandatory for Fury, Fury has to fight that guy or get stripped. So, just because they couldn't get the eliminator together doesn't mean that the mandatory is the most powerful position in boxing besides being the champ. So I don't agree with that, Bruce, but that's the way it is.
Man, it just seems like boxing's going backwards instead of forward. It really does.
Well, it is in certain ways because nobody they can't get their shit together. The fighters overprice themselves when they don't want to fight anybody. When they don't want to fight a particular fighter, they say, okay, I want 10 million. Well, there's not 10 million available. There's 3 million. Okay, I want 10 million. That's how it works.
Is it possible boxing could go bankrupt? Could it bankrupt itself?
No. It's been around too long. It's worldwide. It's too big. No.
But it's like the inmates are running the asylum. That's what.
That's true. That may be true. But the when it comes down to it, the networks are drawing out the money to the promoters. We'll see what happens. These fighters cause their own problems too. That's the other issue. They overprice themselves, and I don't want to fight this guy. He talked bad about me, and he dated my sister, and he dates my sister. He can come up with all kinds of lame excuses.
Compared to other sports where you have to compete to get on, it just seems like, I don't know, boxing's in a real sad state right now. The more
not in that bad a state. There's multi-million-dollar fights happening every weekend, so it's not that bad.
Well, I'm looking at the top. I think the titles should be at least defended regularly. Never mind unified or totally undisputed. But it's just not happening. The fighters just have no incentive. Because somebody mentioned out there they used to cater to people that buy tickets. That was a long time ago.
Right. That's true. I agree with that. And it's a shame, but that's what's happened.
Now, I put a picture up last week. It had Ezra Charles. It had Jake LaMotta, Sugar Ray Robinson. Carlos Ortiz, Willie Pep. The bodies on the fighters of those days, those were the greatest that I'm talking about. But they didn't look anything like the fighters look today.
In what way?
The muscles, the fighters today look more like bodybuilders than the boxers of that.
Well,
era.
that's because times have changed, and there's more equipment, and there's more stuff, supplements to keep you going and be able to train harder and stuff like that. There's a lot of reasons for that, Bruce.
But do you think that look is necessary? I don't know, man.
No, I don't. but
it caught me.
but people want to look. Yeah, people today want to look sharp for some fucking woman because they jump around from woman to woman. Back in those days, years ago, a guy could look good for his wife, and that was it. And then he was with her forever. But those times have changed too. Everything changes.
Yeah, yeah, that's mate. That's why I feel like I do because when I grew up, they gave us so much, so many great fights, and the super fights were events where we got together, we went out, we put on our best clothes, and it's fallen so much from those days. I think I need a jolt of reality to get back into coming back.
Bruce, it's not your fault. It's everything in this world today. I mean, listen, when was the last time you drove down the street and you were a little community and you saw kids playing wiffle ball in the street? You saw people playing street hockey, touch football. They don't do that anymore. They go to home, they get a 2 liter of Pepsi, and the next, a 20-ounce thing of Pepsi, Doritos, and they're playing on their computer until their mother calls them for fucking dinner. And then as soon as they don't even say goodbye when they finish their dinner, they just run back to the computer. The mother turns around and starts doing the dishes. She turns around, the kid's gone. He's upstairs on the computer again. It's a different world today. Everything's different today. I mean, I remember, I'm 65. I remember the days when you wanted to ask a girl out, you had to go home and ask her parents. You had to get a big formal sit down, and you had to ask the parents permission. If the father and mother said no, it was no. Okay, I mean, I remember the days you dated a girl, you got invited over on a Sunday for pasta. And if you were like me and you were Jewish, they looked at you like you had fucking antlers on your head. Like, what were you doing here? You know what I'm saying? But things have changed. Did I think 30 years ago that I was going to marry a black woman? No, things change. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, they sure do, man. They sure do. And I think a lot of it has to do with the family unit. I mean, there's just no respect. There's so many single parent households. Kids growing up without any male father figure.
100%. Listen, let me run this by you. You're a sharp guy mentally. You come from an Italian American area in the Providence area, right? You used to go to a restaurant. They had a fucking maitre d', and he was all dressed up, and he seated you, and he knew you on a first name basis. And it was a new bartender. He'd introduce you to the bartender, your father and mother, and everybody would know each other. Today, you walk in, they got a little fat broad at the front desk and says, "Hey, how many are you?" Whole world's different today.
Yeah, it is, man. There's only about maybe a half dozen of those old style steakhouses, I think, left in the country where they know you by name and take you by the arm and take you into the
exactly. I mean, it's a different world today. I remember going to Italian restaurants, and the owner would say to me, "Rick, are you hungry today?" I said, "Yeah, forget 3 meatballs. I'm giving you 6 meatballs." Fucking today, you're lucky if you get 2 meatballs, let alone 3, let alone 6.
Yes, sir, man. I grew up in the restaurant industry. My family owned one, and so when it was like a busman's holiday, when we had a day off, what did we do? Go to another restaurant, and it was. There's the same thing with boxing. People had much more pride in fight. Boxers had more pride in their careers.
30, 40 years ago, fighters never went down with body shots. Today they go down and out with body shots. And there's reason for that, because they only get back in the gym today when they have a contract for a fight. They don't get in the gym just because they're supposed to be there. So they spend too much time trying to lose weight instead of trying to get in shape. Instead of getting in better shape, it's always trying to lose weight. So this is causing all kinds of problems, and people don't realize it. That's why so many fighters are overweight. They miss weight. It's just a mess.
A lot of people are saying that the reason that they take a lot of time between their fights is because the cycling off drugs. Do you think that has anything to do with it? You think there's that much of a? You think drugs are that widespread in boxing? I'm talking about steroids.
No, I don't. That's bullshit. They get too much. They demand too much money for the fights, and they demand too much money in fights, and they're getting it. They don't have to fight as often as they used to. That's what the problem is.
Why do you think everybody's accusing all these fighters of being on steroids now? It's like everybody's pointing fingers.
There are a lot of fighters that are on steroids. Don't get me wrong, Bruce. I'm not saying they're on, but that's not the reason they're only fighting once every four. That certain fighters are fighting once a year. Certain fighters are fighting, maximum of twice a year, where it used to be 3-4 times a year. I mean, 1997. Oscar De La Hoya was in 5 world title fights in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So, just a different world.
If fighters are getting away with this today, do you think they're going to get away with it more in the future? You think it's going to deteriorate even more than it is now? Because hey, man, if I had a job and a no-show job, that would be beautiful. If I could collect my check every week, but that's just not realistic. But that seems like
in truth. If new people came in, let's say if I was running a TV network, okay, I would say, okay, this guy's going to fight twice a year as world champ. This guy's fighting 3 times a year. That guy's fighting 2 times a year. That guy's not fighting at all. And if the fighter don't want to fight 3 times a year, you don't put him on at all. That's all there is to it, because you can't market the guy and build him up if he's only fighting once a year. That's why.
Do you see yourself getting into a position where you can put demands on improved boxing by making?
No, I'm capped out where I am. I'm 65 years old, and I'm not saying I'm winding down, but I'm happy with the position I have in boxing. I've got a meeting in October out in LA with a guy who wants me to do some TV work, our TV network. Purchase some fights for them, overseas fights to be shown in America. I'm going to sit down and meet with him, have dinner with him, talk about these things, and maybe I'll add that to my repertoire, what I'm doing now. But I'm not in that kind of position, nor do I want to be. I am exactly where I want to be in boxing.
Like Larry Merchant said, if I was 30 years younger.
Well,
Well, I mean, it's a huge task. But can you imagine if boxing was straightened out? If there was an actual figurehead.
If I was asked to be on a let's say 5, 6, 7 person panel on how to fix boxing, I would participate in that. But I'm not. These guys. I'm not a power broker. My business is that I'm a 24/7, 365 worldwide provider of quality supplemental services to boxing business. And, the power brokers need to all sit down and work it out where everybody's fighters fight each other and present the best fights to the public. The way it is right now, it sucks.
Definitely. Now I'm going to change the subject for a second. Now you're on one of the committees in the Hall of Fame. Is that the International Boxing Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I'm not on the committee. I'm an elector.
So explain that to me, please.
I'm a voting member. I vote.
So you vote.
In other words, when the ballots come out, I vote. Yes.
Now, a lot of people have criticisms on who's in the Hall of Fame, who should be in the Hall of Fame. How do you see it? You're just a single vote. And how many votes are there, by the way?
I believe 240.
240. Wow. And there's some people are saying, there's so many fighters that retire and want to get in there, but then there's the fighters that were passed over, and people saying that they'll get it on the next ballot. Do you think there's like a real bottleneck there? Should
I've heard a lot of complaints that from up your area, Marlon Starling should be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, I just talked to Marlon.
Well, let me give you my opinion. Okay, it took Donald Curry 9 years to get in his 9th year. He was on the ballot. He got in the Hall of Fame. He is a unified world. Unified world welterweight champ, Okay,
Undisputed.
welterweight champ. He was junior middleweight champ. He beat Marlon Starling both times they fought. It took him 9 years to get in. Okay, but let alone that Marlon Starling should be at, it's very far-fetched. Vinny Pazienza, because of extenuating circumstances, because he fought everybody, because of the fact he got injured, badly injured, he was never supposed to walk again, and let alone he won the world title, junior middleweight title after that. I would say that I voted for Vinny this past year. He didn't get in. I mean, I think Vinny is more a reciprocant of a Hall of Famer than Marlon Starling is, to be perfectly frank with you.